What's up guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how we install a Bilstein 6112 and 5160 kit on a 2007 Toyota Tundra. We will also be using an Icon RXT in the back to provide the rear lift on this truck as well. There's going to be two ways of doing this. One, if you are not going to be using an upper control arm, you can pull the shock from underneath the truck. And then two, if you are going to be using upper control arms, you could take off the top upper control arms and then take the strut out from on top and then reinstall the new one from that same direction as well. So we're going to have both those options. We're also going to be fitting these 35-inch tires on here. And if you want to do a similar setup like this, installing an upper control arm that has caster adjustment like the SPCs are going to be a must need. So what we have here is probably the factory Toyota suspension that came on this truck, and this truck has 240,000 miles. So it has a ton of miles, and you can tell with the powder coat just peeling off like this. This was on the East Coast, so it has quite a bit of rust on it, so this is kind of common. But if you have the factory Toyota lift or suspension, this is what it will look like. So everything in this video will pretty much be the same as what you're going to be installing. But if you're installing this to replace a different lift kit, it's going to be just a little bit different, but the process is pretty much the same. So this here is the Bilstein 6112. This is a 2.5 diameter shock, and for those who don't know, 2.5 doesn't refer to the amount of lift that you can get, but this will provide up to 2.5 inches of lift. The 2.5 is the diameter, so if you measure across there, it's a 2.5 inch diameter shock body. And this down here, this is your spring perch. You can adjust the height with this collar right here. You will need a tool like this to move that spring. If you want it at 2.5 inches, put it all the way at the top. If you want a lower lift, bring it down. There is instructions for this as well, so you can see exactly what lift you want out of moving those that clip. Now, the install for this is pretty easy. You grab the spring, which is included. So this will come together in the box, and Bilstein will want you to reuse your factory top hat, which is or would look like this. However, if you're upgrading your second gen Tundra and you have a lot of miles on them already, I would highly recommend having aftermarket top hats or getting aftermarket top hats. So the ones we're using is the KYB. This is a very well-known brand that's been around for decades, and this is what I would recommend. And then this here is the Bilstein 5160s. This is going to replace the rear shocks. This here will provide no lift at all because there's no spring perch or anything for a spring to go in. This is just going to dampen the rear of your truck. What will provide the lift is going to be the blocks, add a leaf or replacement leaf pack that you're going to choose from for the rear. And we'll talk about that a little bit later when we get to the rear. But this here is a 2.0 diameter shock body. Again, this does not provide 2 inches of lift. This is just referring, the 2.0 just refers to the shock body itself. It does have a remote reservoir, so it has more oil in this in comparison to its little brother, the 5100, which is basically just this part without the piggyback. So this is going to be a step above from the 5100s. So with this combination, the Bilstein 6112 in the front with a 2.5 diameter shock body and the Bilstein 5160s in the rear, this is kind of the ultimate kind of mid-tier combination. The front doesn't have a remote reservoir like the rear because it is a 2.5 instead of a 2.0 body. This will provide you more fluid, so that way it dampens your truck better. So if you have more weight in the front, for example, if you have a front bumper or if you're going on like a longer road trip, the fluid in here will take longer to heat up, which will provide you a better dampening experience versus the 5100s, which have a 2.0 body without any reservoirs at all. That will heat up a lot quicker, and then it will actually start being a little bit more soft on the road or off-road. So that's why the rears have the remote reservoirs to kind of make up for that smaller shock body. Now for what's going to provide a lift for the rear of the truck. So starting with the cheapest, we have the block. This is just a piece of aluminum. Some companies make it out of steel. This is raw aluminum. You can also get it in black and stuff. But this is a 1-inch block. This is a 1.5-inch block. This is going to be the cheapest option, but it's going to be the less favorable option in my opinion, just because it doesn't really provide you any performance upgrade as far as suspension travel or anything. It's just going to give you looks. Now, if you're going with the Bilstein 6112 and the 5160 kit, I would recommend not doing this because you already spent a little bit more money for the better kit. So I would recommend going with one of these guys that I have in the front here. In the front here, we have the Icon Add a Leaf. And just like the name states, you add this into your factory leaf pack, hence the name Add a Leaf. This will provide you 1.5 inches of lift for the rear of your vehicle. This over here in the back, this is the Icon RXT. This is kind of a variable leaf pack. There are 3 options. Option 1 will provide you 1.75 inches of lift. Option 2 provide you 3 inches, and then option 3 will provide you with 4 inches of lift in the rear. This is all based on if your bed is empty, you don't have any racks or camper or anything in the rear. This is unloaded weight. Once you add weight, obviously this is going to drop. So these are the upper control arms we decided to go with, and mainly because they are fully adjustable as far as the alignment goes. So we're going to be running a pretty big tire on the truck. So having the caster adjustment along with all of the other alignment adjustment is going to be extremely important. And these are actually the new ball joints. So there were some issues in the past with the ball joint failing, but these are the new generation. And here's kind of a couple things with these new guys. So they're fully sealed both on top and on bottom. And that is going to allow you to have 0 maintenance on these, so you don't have to grease them at all, and they're completely sealed. And if you see the kind of this shine on this the stud on the bottom here, this is an E-nickel coating material, so that way it prevents a lot of the wear. And inside of here, which you can't see, is a ball. It's a high strength forged ball in here. So it's going to be extremely strong to take pretty much any abuse on-road and off-road. And just like the upper control arms, the steel that's on here is forged. So both the arms and the upper section of the ball joint is forged steel, so that way it's super strong. You're not gonna bend or break these unless you really send it. But these are gonna be way better than what you've seen in the past with SBC. Really taking their just game up to the next level. So in here as well, right pretty much at the midsection of the ball joint is a 1-piece polymer race for super smooth operation, so you won't feel any kind of like stiff action or anything when you're using or driving them like other upper control arms. And unlike other control arms as well, these ends here, these are a factory style kind of bushing. So other aftermarket bushings, you'll see that you can press them in. These are pressed in from SBC already. So being that these are factory style, they're not gonna make any noise. They're maintenance free. You don't have to ever replace them like the other ones that you are aftermarket upper control arms. And being that this is a 0 maintenance ball joint, the inner grease that's in here is a new version as well. So they changed the formula so that way it prevents long-term wear or anything like that, since you don't have to grease it, and it maintains everything inside of this fully sealed ball joint. So if you guys have any questions after this whole video, feel free to give us a call. We are located in Denver, Colorado. We'll help you pretty much answer any questions you have for your lift kit. We will have all the products in this video down in the description as well if you wanted to check that out. But that's going to be it for this video, and we'll see you guys next time.